So it has been quite a while since we have made a video related to stimulus, social security, and government programs. So hopefully this is going to be a little bit of a refresher because it has been a while since we've heard any particular news about it. But in today's video, as a blast from the past, what I really want to do is talk about this brand new stimulus bill that officially was just reintroduced by Bernie Sanders in order to do $200 monthly, or otherwise known as $2,400 stimulus checks to very select number of people. So in today's video, we're basically just going to talk about this brand new bill. We're going to talk about the details, what's inside, the qualifications, how it works, and also just about what's been going on in the world of stimulus in general. So hopefully a little bit for every single person. So with that being said, let's just get this video started right on the spot, but as always, real fast, before we begin, if you guys enjoy videos like this, remember to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell. Feel free to leave a comment about any questions, maybe personal thoughts about what you think about this new bill, or honestly just really anything by the end of this video. So with that being said, let's get this video rolling and started. So this new bill that was recently just reintroduced is called the Social Security Expansion Act, and just like the name suggests, it's really dedicated to anybody here that happens to be or knows someone that happens to be on Social Security benefits. And the big idea about how this bill works is that it was actually technically introduced back in June 9th of 2022, but it is being reintroduced once again about a half year later with several changes, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. The biggest difference between back then and today is that right now there is now even more support growing for this particular bill to get it approved. Specifically, now we have about 8 other senators, including Bernie Sanders, and 25 Democrats in the House of Representatives really preaching for this bill. And the support for this bill is only continuing to grow even further as we continue forward. Now, how this particular bill works is that it's really meant to essentially raise anybody that happens to be on Social Security payments right now. It's meant to raise their payments by $200 every single month, or by the very end of the year, because 200 times 12, for 12 months, it's going to basically put about $2,400 or $2,400 inside of every single person's pocket for those that are on Social Security benefits. What's also really cool is that there's also some new additional changes related to taxes, but the great news is that what they want to do is to make it so that nobody who makes under $2,400 who makes under $250,000, so nobody who makes $250,000 or less in terms of annual salary is going to be taxed even greater. So there's going to be no changes there, and it's really going to intend to try to tax the rich people in order to fund this program, and then be able to use it so that now the people that really need it, such as those on Social Security, will now be able to receive even more money. And I think that's the really great news. The big support for this is that it was recently noted that probably about more than half of the people on Social Security are currently living off of an income of about $25,000 or less every single year. So the budget is really definitely very tight. And so the motivation, especially with the inflation situation and everything that's skyrocketing right now, is that they want to potentially try to provide more relief and support. Where is the money specifically going to be coming from in terms of the funding? They're pretty much going to be trying to take it from rich people. They want to try to take it and so make it so that now people that make over $250,000 or more, as just mentioned, are going to now see an increase in their amount of taxes, especially those in the millionaire bracket. So those that are making in the $1 million range or more, those are the people that are really going to be the most impacted by this in terms of how much money they're going to be taxed by. Now, one very important thing in terms of who actually supports this bill right now is that there are definitely, as mentioned, is that there are a lot of Democrats inside that really support it. However, the biggest struggle is really going to be trying to convince a lot of the Republicans, again, leaving politics aside, because obviously there's just a lot of politics that's being involved now, but doing our best to leave politics aside, just objectively speaking right now, the biggest story is that most of the people that are actually against this bill are really the Republicans, and the biggest biggest argument why is that they're very, very afraid of raising the national debt ceiling. As you guys know, is that right now our country is facing a lot of debt issues. And so because of that reason, what they're very, very particularly afraid of is that if we end up deciding to create even more social programs, even if they become very targeted programs in just general, the fact that there is a social program that's existing out there, it's going to help to impact that debt ceiling. And so what they want to do is that they want to essentially control it. And that's the biggest motivation that they have for trying to eliminate or not do a lot of these programs. So it's a very, very difficult situation to be in, because it's one of those biggest difficulties that you're trying to find the balance between helping the common people that really need it and then also just helping the economy in general. Obviously, the Republicans really prioritize the economy above all, and then obviously many of the Democrats really prioritize helping the people. Again, just speaking objectively. And that's really where the objective battle is really currently happening right now inside of our country. Now, in terms of my personal thoughts about whether or not I think that this can potentially go through, I personally think that the big idea right now is that the good news is that the bill is definitely in a much greater shape than it was back 6 months ago when it was first introduced. There's definitely a lot more support for it. There's also a lot more arguments to why we should potentially do it, especially because of inflation right now, which means that the need for money is going to be even greater than it was even before. However, with that being said, I do believe that as a standalone package right now in this situation, it probably will be very difficult to be able to get through. I wish I could say that it was easier, but it's probably going to be difficult, largely because it's going to be difficult to gain a lot of the Republican support. And that's where a lot of the biggest difficulties and issues really lie right now. But however, with that being said, I do still think it's possible to get this bill approved, but they're probably going to have to modify it in some way or come up with some kind of compromise working with the Republicans in order to be able to do it. Bernie Sanders, obviously, because he's the one that created the bill, he supports it and he obviously really vouches for it, and he's a very, very powerful figure right now in the world of Congress. But the big idea is that we just have to gain support, at least from several of the Republicans, in order to get this through. And the only way to do this is to maybe compromise by giving the Republicans some of the things that maybe they want on their agenda in order to compromise for what the Democrats want, or at least, again, the select Democrats that really want this bill to go through, to be able to go through. And I think that's the most important, biggest takeaway right now inside of this particular bill. But beyond that is that if you are not on Social Security benefits, I will admit right now is that the news has been a little bit quiet in terms of other kinds of stimulus programs. The very good news is that yes, there are actually several states that have now started to come out, and even more states that are trying to come out to do their own stimulus programs. However, at this current time, I think it's really, and it's been relatively made clear, but I think it's just important to finally put it out there, is that universal stimulus checks, like the traditional ones that we're used to, those are probably going to be very, very difficult to come by, which is largely the reason why we haven't made as many updates about general stimulus checks, and it's exactly for that reason. I would try to maybe make some videos about just state stimulus checks, maybe comment if that's of interest, but I just try to be as inclusive as possible, and that's really the biggest reason why it's been relatively quiet, for that particular reason. But of course, when it comes to just doing Social Security, that is still definitely very, very much on the table. We already had the COLA adjustment, as you guys know, that was recently approved. So again, this was an approved program. They approved essentially a COLA, so COLA, C-O-L-A, cost of living adjustment, inflation boost, in order to help boost and improve or give people on Social Security even more money. This bill is meant to be a complement to provide and give people even more money than that they already are increasing, in order to even better accommodate the inflation situation that we currently have right now. But in terms of where this particular bill goes, what ends up happening to it, does it end up actually approving? The probability is that it's probably going to struggle to approve. However, it's very probable that it might also change to maybe something that both parties will now actually love and support. That's something we all just have to see in one of the future episodes of The Kevin Show. So with that being said, that's pretty much what I really wanted to just cover in today's video. So hopefully not too long or nothing too crazy or anything like that. But if you guys found that relatively insightful, maybe, and guys hopefully enjoyed that and haven't done so, consider smashing the like button, comment, subscribe, hit the bell as we get more information. We're going to go back to talking a lot more about general career stuff, just because that's the biggest focus right now. So hopefully that's understandable. With that being said, if you guys made it to the end, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for sharing your support. And with that being said, hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.